I think Taulek actually has a very similar role to Renegade, where he is expected to do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to KD. He's the entry fragger, he's the first from the door, and he expects the rest of his team to follow him up behind them. I think what I'd like to see is Boam. My concern coming into this for Native Red was that maybe Boam wouldn't have the same sort of playstyle as Druk, and that is where they would suffer. But I think Boam actually complements this team very well, because from the outside looking in, he looks as though he likes to anchor a little bit, and he has 3 absolute head cases that like to run forward, just run and gun. So I think he's been a really good addition last minute. I think they've done very well to be able to secure his services. But like Wes says, we've seen Native Red already drop some series that they maybe weren't expected to. They lost to Navi last night, and we now see them up against FaZe. So I think this is a really, really tough test for them, but with the way their tournament has gone so far, I wouldn't be surprised to see this go to a Game 5.
I got to say, looking at the series layout as well, I think the only wiggle room I see for Native Red in terms of this favouring them is got to be that Strongholds recharge right bang in the middle of a potential reverse sweep happening if things don't go their way for the first 2. Because I got to say, FaZe are looking pretty good on oddball. They've been working on that one live file again. Nothing really favourable there for FaZe, but that Strongholds right in the middle might be where Native Red can start capitalising on some of the weaknesses that FaZe do show on those objective types there. I've been told the game is ready, so I'm going to just zip it and ship it all the way over to our 2 casters. We've got Bravo on set.
Thank you very much, Lottie. First time up here for us today, Andy. We've been sat in the back watching all this craziness go down. Game 5, sorry, buddy. It's all right, we'll do it again. One more time. Okay. Game 5's been going down. We've seen 50-50s, and now we get to see a little bit of winners bracket semi-final action. We've got FaZe, we've got Native Red. 2 teams have just come off the back of Game 5s themselves.
Yeah, especially a lot of pressure on those Game 5s as well. Those were not as easy as those 2 teams would have liked, certainly, and you can say that definitely about the FaZe series. Things got dicey. A last-second Renegade flagpole is really what kept them alive in that series to make sure that Aquarius CTF ended. They got to the Game 5, but now there's a much bigger job here as these 2 teams are going up against each other for top 3.
Yeah, a crazy story for both these teams coming into this series, and we'll kind of touch on that as the series progresses. But as Lottie said, it looks like we're ready to get straight into the action here. We're going to start off on a little bit of live fire, Andy, and I think for FaZe, this is going to be probably the biggest test we could have expected for them.
Yeah, it really will be. And let's not forget also 2nd seed versus 4th seed here. Native Red looking to break that top 4 ceiling. They have been locked into the top 4 for months and months, placing 4th in every single tournament. Unsurprisingly, coming in with the 4th seed here as well. And now an opportunity right in this series alone to break that curse, to place top 3 and secure that position. However, FaZe, of course, going to have something to say about that.
I think it's really important as we see this opening break go down that we just touch upon what we saw. Renegade, good morning to you. And I saw a double kill from him, cleaning up the 2 players bottom middle, but the ceiling keeps getting put on this Native Red roster. It's, okay, can you get top 6? Yes, we can. Can you break through to the top 4? Yes, we can. Now, can you break into the top 3? And then after that, as we've seen in this tournament, as we've seen previously, you can get in that top 3, you can go on and win a tournament.
Absolutely. A little bit of ball time here coming in for Native Red early on. And they'll be now on board Renegade, not able to finish on that SoulSnipe kill. However, those kills will be traded out. But you have to wonder, is this a time? Can Native Red strike while FaZe looks a bit shaky going into a Game 5 last series? And when one, you certainly wouldn't expect them to need to go to a Game 5. Maybe, just maybe, this is their opportunity here. Just about 8 points on the board early on for Native Red.
Yeah, what a Game 1 win would do for Native Red, right? And for FaZe, goodness me, SnakeBite, he's hitting some shots and certainly starting this game in the way that he would want. But like you say, for Native Red to take away game number 1 here, to put that pressure that is already on FaZe back on an even higher level would be absolutely massive for their chances in this series.
Yeah, all netted up here right at the break. 8 kills apiece, actually, these 2 teams. That's not something you see very often here in the first round of a game of ball, but that's exactly what you're seeing on your screen here as teams have really just tried to get a little bit of a foothold, but neither team able to do so just yet.
Yeah, a little bit of a scrappy start here to be expected with 2 teams who are so closely matched. And both have played quite a lot of Halo so far this weekend, and probably a little bit more than FaZe would have wanted with some of the series that they've had in front of them. But now we're going to see FaZe finally start to move that oddball back for a few seconds. They kind of halved the deficit, even though there's barely a second on the board for both teams. But all eyes are on the overshield at the moment. That's why you're seeing all of these pushes going down on the OS side of the map.
Ooh, 2 dead, though. What looked like it was going to be a little bit of an advantage there is eventually evened out. Now 2 dead, however, off of the chaos around scoreboard and key door, it will be a nice shroud screen, textbook grab here for SnakeBite. He will now have a full overshield to play with.
And he's just slowing this down for a second, though. SnakeBite going to use the OS to jump in there and grab that oddball away. And with the way that FaZe are set up around the map, you would expect them to be able to put a run together here. but one plasma grenade just completely changed the complexion of that push.
Yeah, it stays at 2-2 there. Very interesting, as you say. It looked like they were going to have pillars and dummy control, but it wasn't that easy there. Taulek actually sneaks through and picks up a very nice kill, and look how low scoring this round is. It is 8-7 here at the moment.
Native Red do have a little bit of work to do here, as FaZe have stolen the ball away for just a few moments, but it's barely a few seconds between the teams, and considering how much time has elapsed in this first round so far, Andy, it's quite a surprise to see not even what would you call a half a setup that's been kind of put together on the map by either team. Finally, Royal 2 has a chance to move the ball away, but it's only because he's the last player alive, and Native Red are coming off a respawn.
Exactly there. He's going to force some house spawns, which is going to be... Oh, Taulek comes through the rat tunnel. All he needs is one bullet. Makes it connect and slows down that setup without a doubt. And still at 21-8 with just 2:19 on the clock. A very, very low scoring, uncharacteristic first round between these two, but maybe speaks to the amount of discipline on both sides of the stage.
Gonna have to see if maybe there's gonna be a little bit of frustration coming on either side at the moment. With a lack of ball time, with a lack of calculated setup that's been able to be put on either side of the stage at the moment with their setups. Frosty and SnakeBite will pick up 2, though, combined with another kill coming in from FaZe Clan. That's going to leave Native Red with 3 in the death screen, and a chance here for FaZe Clan to finally get a semblance of map control along with the oddball in their hands.
Yeah, let's see if they can pick up another bit of damage here. Boamx has a very nice angle. It's a good evasive shroud screen from Frosty. That will get him out. And just like that, we have a little bit more, not too many, but a little bit more points on the board to double the score of Native Red here, 36-19.
Frosty needs to hit some shots here just to even the numbers up for a second. Manny going to take the body shot. Renegade will clean it up, which now allows FaZe Clan to get back on the map. And that's slightly uncharacteristic to see Frosty miss that shot.
Yeah, to miss that, and also under the high pressure as well. As we take a look here, 2 dead for FaZe at the moment, as well as Bone coming in with the overshield will now make 3 dead. SnakeBite will be your last player alive at back green. Ball has been played, and this should be... Oh boy, somehow SnakeBite stays alive. I started to look away from the screen because I thought that battle was a guaranteed win. However, you can't leave SnakeBite alive back green. He will win those battles and keep the advantage in FaZe's favor. However, Royal 2 off the back of that is your last player alive. Back-to-back 3 deads in favor of Native Red.
Now, this is how FaZe want this game to be set up. They have a pretty decent lead at this point, around 20, 30 points. Something that they can play around. They can start to use that odd ball as a distraction, slay around it, knowing that Native Red have to pick up ball time. And when you fall into that trap at the moment, this is where FaZe do their best work. They put all of Native Red into the death screen, and now they can take their time, pick that ball up, and know that they're just going to take second after second and extend this lead.
That's right. That was 4 dead here. Now all 8 players alive on the map. Let's take a look at this hold. It's already 62-19. Very comfortable for FaZe, but these next few kills will determine if it continues. It's a 2-tap in the rat tunnel for Royal 2 to continue the advantage. 3 dead again. This is looking like a very different second half of the round. FaZe Clan looking good.
As soon as they got that little 20-point cushion, it's been all FaZe, and Native Red have just been picked apart, push after push, trying to force their way towards that oddball to elongate this game for a few more moments. But it's looking like at this point in the game, Andy, round 1 could be a FaZe 1.
It certainly could. 3 dead. Royal 2, last player alive here. In the cuts, he will eventually be taken down. So Native Red does answer back. However, how much gas do they have in the tank? Take a look at the clock. 59 seconds remaining. They're going to need to string together some fantastic plays if they want to get the points on the board.
Well, here goes Renegade. Body shot onto Bone, followed by a headshot from the battle rifle. Taulek trying to answer back with the overshield and the heat wave as well. Renegade still alive, gets an extra beatdown in. And to be honest, in that situation, Taulek, although he got the kill, maybe took a little bit too much damage in doing so.
Definitely took a little bit of damage. He would have loved to have another heat wave shot. 3 dead there. It's a staggered 4 dead off of the double kill from Frosty. That is dangerous here now. Only 25 points to go for FaZe. All players coming off the respawn. Let's take a look at this next Native Red push.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one to make as well, because Renegade's already picked up 1 kill.
Oh!
Frosty, sat on the tower with a sniper. 1 more shot here, and this will be the round. Certainly going heavily in the favor of FaZe, but Boamx makes him pay, takes that sniper rifle out of his hands for just a few moments, and now Royal 2 going to be forced to play ball.
Royal 2 perfectly timed there. He gets a 97, drops pillars, thinks he might have the time. He doesn't. He's forced to play ball. However, as you say, only 3 seconds to go before FaZe takes the first round.
Just need to take a deep breath here, FaZe. Make sure they don't do anything silly, don't do anything stupid, and throw this round away and really give momentum back to Native Red. SnakeBite's been in this position 1,000 times before, knows that he's got the time to play his life, and with that, it looks like FaZe, having picked that ball up, I was about to say, might close this out, but Taulek has stolen that ball away.
Let's see what Taulek can do with a rotate here. Boom, doesn't do as much damage as he would have liked here. They forced it out, but look at the trades for SnakeBite in there. Now it's a 2v2 on the map.
SoulSnipe trying to take down Renegade as well. Manny gets that kill, flying out the window before he goes back to regain control of that oddball. And like I mentioned, don't make silly mistakes here, FaZe. You've got time to put 2-3 pushes together to get that oddball out of the hands of Native Red. You've got to value your life and make sure you're getting the most out of them.
Oh boy, needs this kill. Frosty wise to get that one. He needed that kill. It's going to be a double kill. SoulSnipe is your last player alive. This will be the round.
Finally, FaZe do get the break. And the couple of points they need to close out the first round here. FaZe Clan up 1 in oddball.
Wow, what a round there as well. Let's not forget, Native Red was down by quite a margin, about 75-19. They do bring the round back quite a bit to keep things interesting. However, it was that big hold from about 20 points all the way to 75 that really won FaZe that round.
So into round 2 then. FaZe looking to get that little lead. Put the pressure back onto Native Red. Repeat the dosage that we saw in that first round. Frosty going to get the sniper rifle and unfortunately not going to be able to get away with it, so that's an opportunity for Native Red to turn over a power weapon at least. But Boamx is going to have to play this one slow. Native Red finding themselves with 2 players in the death screen, but when that overshield is popping, one thing you certainly want in your hands is the long stick.
Ooh, goes for the blind shot, does Boam. Tries to hit twice, and not easy to do through the shroud screen. That will be a clean overshield grab here for Royal 2. He's also got the heat wave, and he's got kills in mind.
Tries to put the pressure. I like the prioritization of kills there from Royal 2. Recognize the Boam. Had that sniper rifle, but now having prioritized everything, he's gonna get them all! It's an overkill for Royal 2.
And a little bit of whoa! SoulSnipe knows about the spawner. It could have been even more than the over without a doubt, and they knew what he had on the board. Finally, Royal 2's taken out, but he even adds a little bit of love taps on top of it for some extra flavor. A very nice overkill here in our second round.
Beautiful stuff. And while all that craziness was happening, the rest of FaZe were going, go off, Matt. You go do your thing. We're going to hold this oddball. And it's a 41-point lead here in this second round. Beautiful stuff from Royal 2. And it all came down to that decision-making. Who do I shoot first right at the start of that run?
Exactly. And we now have a second here at 41-5 to talk about the decision-making. He's top mid. He has the option to push sandbags. Instead, you know the comms were perfect. He drops down to bottom middle, wraps pillars to get the triple, gets the finish there on a sandbags as well. And you know the team comms were key in making sure that overkill took place. Native Red, though, now on the board with a tower hold, all 8 players alive on the map, down here by about 25.
Yeah, Native Red haven't quite crumbled as yet. That was the first time we see them get a fresh 4 dead from FaZe Clan. First pick's going to be the oddball carry, though. SnakeBite manages to kind of slide and slip his way through the setup. Overshield coming up as well, and this is bad timing on these deaths coming in from Native Red. All 4 of them fall. Overshield going to be picked up by FaZe. The oddball, you imagine, will be grabbed alongside it.
Like a SWAT team, tactical. They fly in before the ball can even be played off the back of the tower. I think SnakeBite actually went Nest Bridge straight to C Plat to hit some really fast nades, and they drop immediately. It's all 4 dead, and as you say, on the timing of the overshield as well. Look at SnakeBite. He won't go down. You can't take him out. Still leading here, 41-22.
I mean, look at this man's face at the moment in the player cam. Full focus. He almost looks like he's angry, SnakeBite. And this is something you don't usually kind of relate when you're talking about PJ. He's a calm customer, but I think with the games and the pressure that FaZe have been under, he's decided it's his time to step up. A killing spree for him now, 51-22. Native Red again with 2 players in the death screen.
I couldn't agree more. Based on the upsets we've seen on the main stage already in day 1 and day 2, there's a little bit of nerviness here you feel in these top teams where they're realizing anyone can take us out at any point. They are here for blood, and we need to make sure we are focused on these matches. Let's not forget here, team that wins this is guaranteed top 3 as FaZe continues on in this round, 67-22.
Renegade picks up another kill for him. That's 22 for Jonathan Willett. Going to be another one added here by SnakeBite as well. Turns a green gun into a sniper rifle and almost turns a double into a triple. And I tell you what, those eyebrows on SnakeBite, even though to be forward, he looks a bit angry, they lifted for a second there.
They certainly did. I think a lot of eyebrows in the room were raised up there. Almost hits a beautiful triple, but it doesn't matter because he is dealing damage on every single corner of the map without a doubt. Now they're only 20 points away from closing out the game.
Oh, gosh. Goodness me, Taulek. That one's going to hurt. SoulSnipe finally slows SnakeBite down, but not after he's sat at 21-12. And he's got the most objective time on the team as well. PJ doing it all here for FaZe.
They really are, and we should look now at also as they're at the 83 mark. SoulSnipe picks up a very nice kill there on Royal 2 on the key door. Right now, outslaying Native Red 85-64 at this point in the game. Only 17 to go.
Important thing, though, for FaZe, we've seen this before. They outslay a lot of teams, but it's being turned into objective work.
Yeah.
It isn't a close game. 83-26 is where we find ourselves. Taulek does get that overshield, and last time we saw it, didn't really make the most of it. This time he picks up a kill without taking too much damage himself. So a way back into this game, a way back into this round here. If Taulek can turn SnakeBite into the death screen for a few moments as well, then the opening is here for Native Red. He does exactly that. Teammate's going to pick that ball up. Royal 2 going to be last alive.
Ooh, very nice job to double back on the sandbags as well. Take a look at how Taulek made sure to get that kill before SnakeBite could fly in for the trade, because SnakeBite's been doing that all game, if we're honest. A very nice job. However, it will require, once again, a heroic comeback due to a very, very strong early open from FaZe. Now, here comes the dummies push, but it's cut off by Boam. A very nice flank.
Yeah, Boamx doing what he can, and Boam really, I mean, stepping up in a big way for Native Red. 4 dead, unfortunately, for Native Red in that moment, but to come in at the last second as a substitute, performing the way that he has, you can't say enough about what he's managed to produce at this tournament.
Absolutely. As you say, that was 3 dead, so this should be a hold here at the 91 mark. It's 3 dead again. This should be the round here, unless there's some heroics from Manny.
Yeah, it's just all about holding that oddball for a few seconds, and the man who's been outstanding in this game will have the trophy in his hands with that oddball to cross that 100-point threshold. FaZe Clan will go 1-up in the series. It's a 2-0 victory here on Oddball.
Even though it was a bit of a slow start there from FaZe in that first round, I think it was really just a calm level of play in terms of how they approached that, right? It didn't bother them that game was 8-4 for about 2 minutes of play. They wanted to settle into the game, settle into the series, and once they found the opening, the opportunity, they took that advantage and really did not look back at any point between our opening 2 rounds.
Something I want to talk about here with FaZe as well. Yesterday we saw a couple of players hot, a couple of players cold, and it felt like someone was having to step up for FaZe to kind of drag themselves through a series. Every single player on the team during that game kind of had a moment, had something where they were a player who stepped up to do something special. The little run from SnakeBite, the snipes that came in from him, the overkill from Royal 2. We saw killing sprees from Frosty, from Renegade. Everybody starting to ascend to that level you need to be at to get to a grand final here. Haven't seen how crazy the games have been so far, but not only that, to elevate themselves to potentially win a tournament as well.
Couldn't agree more. Also in the end, final slay total as we take a look at some highlights from that game, 94-72 in favor of FaZe. So not only were they outslaying, but also getting efficient objective work, as you had mentioned earlier as well. Here's SnakeBite's run on the pillars there, using that overshield to his advantage and then staying alive throughout that entire battle as well.
Yeah, man, this is where he picked up the sniper rifle. And that's where Manny felt it, and certainly found out himself with that nice little shot to the body to take him down. And one thing that I'm impressed with FaZe as well is how well they were efficient in getting 2 dead, and then it turns into 4 within the next 5 to 6 seconds. If you're doing that consistently on any game type, Andy, you're going to have success.
And what was interesting as well was I think Native Red was pretty disciplined that they would wait for each other off spawn. However, it would still be FaZe that gets the first pick off of the next spawn as well. That's what was leading to back-to-back 3 deads time and time again, and that's how you run up the score. That's how you run up the slay category as well, up against a team like Native Red. We'll take a look at some stats.
Here's some stats then. You can see this is from some of the game types that we've seen so far. The Slayer stats, excuse me, from Slayer game type so far, and no surprise to see on the Native Red side that Taulek is the man again to look for. He needs to put up those numbers. He's going to be the guy who's finishing off a lot of those kills. He's going to be controlling some of the power weapons for them in those Slayer game types, but you're looking at the other side, and you can pretty much pick who you want, to be honest. FaZe are dominant when it comes to that KD ratio.
Absolutely. I mean, just talk about the slaying power that's on this team, what they can do, whether it's an objective game type or a Slayer. They're going to be putting up numbers, like we said, outslaying their opponents by 22 kills in 2 rounds of oddball in that last game. If that's any indication, we could see a pretty slay-heavy, ready FaZe in this game 2 as well.
Have to see how game 2 does develop then, but it gives us a second just to talk about Native Red and what they've actually managed to achieve. I think it's pretty wild that they find themselves in this winner semi-final with a substitute. I mean, some of the series that we've seen them in, I mean, they took down Quadrant, who yesterday were absolutely flying. They 3-0'd the world champions, come top of their pool, and again, Native Red just always at every single tournament kind of written off a little bit.
Yeah.
They're here for a reason, and if you look at their trajectory, which we love to do, go back through history, even with a sub here, it is consistently upwards.
It is. And that we saw last year, they just ascended into the ranks. We said last year they were so good, no one in the scene could ignore them. They've continued that this year with consistent top 4 placings, and now an opportunity to break that ceiling here in this series. We'll see if they can hang on. They fell in that first game, but now an opportunity to tie things up here on Slayer Aquarius.
Slayer Aquarius is where we are going to go. First to 50 kills will find themselves taking this game away and adding it to their tally in the series. The worrying thing here, though, for Native Red is this is one of FaZe Clan's best game types. They are so damn good at this. and it's very rare that you see this one slip through their fingers.
Yeah, that game number 1 was an indication without a doubt to Native Red that FaZe actually doesn't look too shaky. They might have gone to game 5 in that last series, but they're looking very good here as we are into game number 2, Slayer on Aquarius.
Well, here we go then, Dallas. It's time for us to see if it's going to be a 2-0 lead here for FaZe in this series. 1 game away from closing it out, or if Native Red fancy another little bit of an elongated series today. Already seen them win 1 game 5. Won't be a surprise to see them pull something out here to maybe send us a little bit further.
First 2 kills go to Native Red. Manny knows someone might be hanging around the fridge, and his name's Renegade. They'll pick up the 3rd as well, and that will... Oh, no! SnakeBite! Back whack on the camo. The Achilles heel, my God, comes in, and he's going to snake that out. That should have been a run there from Native Red, and now things instead are tied here at 3-3 off the double from SnakeBite. He gets an assist as well. Could have been a triple, not to matter, though. FaZe comes back off of the SnakeBite camo back whack to now take the lead in what should have been a camo grab 4 dead for FaZe.
I mean, we call this man the general because of how he leads the teams, how he kind of has IGL'd this team through the years. But at the moment, he's playing like a man on a horse who's leading the team into battle. He is flying forward. He is decimating people in those individual battles, and the rest of the team are playing around him. For Native Red, though, even though we just saw a hot little start coming in from SnakeBite, continuing from what we saw in game 1, they have managed to eke out a little bit of a lead here, and it's down to this man on your screen, Manny. He's got the heat wave and the thrust to play with as well.
Yeah, 4-1 as well, and they maintain the 2-kill lead. Not easy to do after your camo player gets back-whacked and you actually lose the lead. However, they maintain composure, and they also maintain the lead on the scoreboard here at 9-6.
Certainly do, and Boamx is going to pick up 2, so that's going to keep that 3, make it 4-kill lead now in the hands of Native Red. Manny just patrolling around the map, and top-middle control is going to be important this next 20 seconds or so because that camo is going to be popping.
See what he's able to do, stay alive here. He knows someone might be on the Dynamos. Frosty, and that thrust should definitely indicate as Frosty was there and ready. And it sounds like at the 14-7 mark, we have an opportunity to get into a listening here with Native Red.
Nice. Nice, man. Camo is up. Camo's still up. Nice. Camo's car 1 or car 2? He left. Might go car 3. Stay in a group. There we go.
Nice, 2 dead. 2 more there. They were.
House.
Jump up in P2.
Check.
Yeah, I'm looking. P2.
Nice.
Nice, George.
Blue car jump up. Good fucking shit.
Last guy, John.
He's spawner P.
Yo, I'm looking. Yeah, Hunter, I'm not with you, okay?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I'm looking yellow.
P2, John. I'm the stick.
Yeah, he's 2 shots on the street.
On the stairs as well.
Wait, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying
Whatever you do, guys. Dead. Nice. Top red.
I have Dynamos.
Top red, guys.
Nice.
Here.
Yo, I'm my fire.
You're good, man.
Yellow fire, weak.
I can't bump. Car 2 and car 3.
Alone bomb.
He's aping you. He jumped climber.
Alone.
Once a yellow fire, he's gonna go for yellow.
Nice bomb.
Trying to watch you.
Stop me.
Front yellow. Car 2 boys.
End street. I can't tell, man.
He's peeling.
Can't show.
Two blue, going blue.
One's weak, Peter.
They're both going blue.
Yo, double guys, we get.
Oh, double.
What a double guys. What a double guys behind you, bro.
All right, then we'll jump out of the comms and into the game, and the lead is still intact here for Native Red. It's only 5, but at this point in the game, as we approach the final 20 or so kills, where things start to usually get a little bit more dicey, it's a pretty significant one for them.
Yeah, that lead narrowed just a bit there. You heard in the comms, Boam definitely wished he got those kills up in the blue util, wanted the help, was unable to convert on the high util. However, nice shots here from Taulek, to be honest, making it look easy, only taking 50% damage there. He did have 2 teammates down. However, picking up the scraps on Frosty as well will extend their lead to 7.
He's the reason the Native Red are looking how they are right now. He's sat at 9-2 as they approach the 30-kill mark. So Taulek, I've kind of highlighted him as a player to watch in these Slayers at the start of this game. Well, he's performing as he needs to send this series a little bit deeper.
What more can you ask for? This guy's more than 4x positive in this game here as they now lead still by 6. He's finally taken down to bring the game back within 5. 2 dead here for Native Red. They need to be careful off the spawn.
Need to be careful full stop here. We've seen FaZe have the ability to make these comebacks. They will leave it late, but in that last 10 kills, if they're within 2 or 3, they can turn games completely on their head. Taulek picks up another kill though, keeping that lead established once more, and that's so important at this point.
Look at the heads-up play from SoulSnipe there on the mushroom stairs, right? Pre-Dynamos the front base, knowing that Renegade was going to fly towards the shroom stairs, and they pick up that kill very easily to maintain control. Great heads-up play from SoulSnipe.
Still 5 kills, make it 6, as Taulek picks up another, sat at 11 and 3. At the moment, SnakeBite finally coming in with that sidekick. Shred through a few shields. Going to pick up a double kill. Might have an opportunity to turn 3, but doesn't get the trade. And if that is a triple kill that comes in from SnakeBite, the game starts to feel a little bit more in control for FaZe.
And that's what Native Red fans and players have to be so proud of. They're continuing to apply the pressure. And what looks like it's about to be a triple for a FaZe Clan player gets shut down. They don't even allow the trade either here at the 37 to 30 mark.
Royal 2 going to be re-challenging down at P1. Manny should be able to clean this one up. Royal 2 goes for the trade, but won't get it again. And they're the little moments that add up. If Manny goes down with a trade there, then all of a sudden, he's not involved in this next battle. He's not putting these shots onto Renegade and SnakeBite and giving SoulSnipe not just the chance to kill, survive as well, and SoulSnipe turns 2, Manny turns another, and Native Red now within 9 of tying the series up.
Well, how about watching that from that POV to see that telegraph? SoulSnipe goes low gen on the flank, he picks up both kills, Manny distracting there from the core while also picking up a kill, and now it's a 10-kill lead on the home stretch for Native Red.
Manny flying in to try and clean this one up, and it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a problem in the game, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody who's watching either here in Dallas or at home, but we'll get updated, of course, on what the score is going to be when we get this restart going. SnakeBite doesn't look too happy with it, and trust me, I'm shaking my head as well.
Yeah, I see a lot of heads, of course, thrown back, ours included. That result there, as it was 42 to 32 or so, give or take a kill.
Native Red with that advantage here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Taulek again coming into this game because we saw how well and how hot he started before we unfortunately had the restart going on. And I really do feel we've been talking about this guy for a while. Like, he's probably the least talked about player that should be talked about more, because you're looking at his stats consistently, you're looking what he's doing in tournaments, and he's up there with the best every single time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What I love about Taulek as well is he's kind of been on the radar of this guy is a superstar in the making. That's what you called him earlier last year. This guy is going to be a big deal. It feels like now with the opportunity to secure top 3, maybe, just maybe, this is his time to shine.
Yeah, what a start this is from Native Red, by the way. 3-1, FaZe Clan all pretty much stuck in the respawn screen, but off of that respawn, Royal 2 makes a really smart play, pushing out for the pink side, and that's going to secure a camo here for Renegade. Can he get away? He's literally 0 health. Decides to pop it just in case he has to burn it, but Renegade surviving again in a situation where Native Red might be thinking, we could have got that kill. Camo out of his hands, and we've got an advantage on the map.
Here he goes. Here's the push. You can tell he wants to get into the fridge. He sees a little bit of an opportunity for damage, but rights away starts to get melted. SoulSnipe with almost pulling off a very good double back will actually get taken down in the end, so now 6-5.
Renegade trusting in his teammates to give him that cover fire, though, to survive, to make that play. And that's going to be synonymous with success if FaZe go deep into this tournament and find themselves maybe in a championship-deciding game. The way that they interact with each other around the map has been something we've really been focusing on. And Renegade showing there that it seems the comms are good enough for him to make those plays.
Like you said, we saw him yesterday just going full bouncy house on top mid with that camo. He's able to make the play. He's able to get the space that he wanted. It's another 3 dead in favor of FaZe, bringing the game 10-6 right now. In aggregate score, 10-11 as they trail by 1.
We were talking about SnakeBite and Taulek. Game 1 was SnakeBite. Game 2, the restart was all about Taulek. Well, this game at the start is all about Royal 2. 5-1 he finds himself at the moment. Renegade 3-1 himself, and on a really good run off the back of this camo, now pushing aggressively into the base, and FaZe are doubling up at the moment. They are doing a great job at the start of this restart. 14-7, they have completely wiped away that advantage that Native Red had.
They really have. They've turned the tables completely, because you'll remember it was 14-7 on the other way, and that gives us a good opportunity to get into a listen here with FaZe as they currently lead.
Run back. Come back.
I think we go P here. I think we go
Top B weak.
Nice! Yo, come back hard, trust!
Heard. Yo, yellow engine. Yo, somebody walk down.
I will.
There's two yellow engine.
Remember, we're looking for a camo guy.
Yeah. He's trying to from blue camo.
Car 3 one. One shot car 3. There's 2 car 3s. I'm gonna die here, bro. Is it, we kill pits on me?
Good.
Nice
win, Brad.
Yo,
Never legend.
alright, keep working together here.
On
They
this.
camo.
Dead.
Nice,
Good kill.
Yeah, I'm going pink. I'm going pink.
Jump him. Okay. Yeah, Peter, you're solo, okay?
Car 1. Yo, listen to me. He's sitting. Car 3. Shot car 1. Oh, I'm pinching this, guys. I'm pinching.
Both weak. Yeah, I'm pushing.
I am going car 1. On shocks. On shocks. On shocks. Shocks. I'm pushing Bludgeon, guys. I'm pushing Bludgeon. You got me, and then Car as well. You're yellow. He has thrust. Thrust on shocks. Work together on this. He has thrust.
On shocks. I'm here.
Really good shot. Yo, bind us. Careful, guys.
Two bonus. I'm living.
I spawn up P.
Come me. Nice, man. One more. Yeah, Boamx.
Where am I?
I'm definitely top car as well.
Behind you as well.
Yeah, top car, PJ car.
Top car and top blue.
As we jump back out of the comms and into the gameplay, 4 kills the advantage here for FaZe. Native Red have slowed this momentum down and started to crawl back into this game.
And Native Red also very thankful for that 5-kill lead off the aggregate score from that first game before the reset here, so they will technically lead by 1 here. And you know, FaZe is definitely aware of that, knowing that they need to make sure that they are winning by no more than just a single round of slays as we get into the late game. Very good shots from SnakeBite.
Yeah, SnakeBite is shooting straight at the moment, I tell you. Every single time we're seeing him in an engagement where he's under pressure, he has to be perfect. He has been so far in this game. FaZe back into a lead now, a 6-kill difference between the two teams. Remember, Native Red have a 5-kill advantage coming into this game number 2. FaZe still in the lead.
SnakeBite gonna grab that. Oh, and also off of the slide, back-to-back slides. He's gonna do it with style to pop the camo as well. Now this is the significant lead that FaZe needed. And you have to think, Mark, almost Taulek somehow gets away, but in the end is taken down. You almost have to think, ironically, FaZe with the added pressure of an additional 5-kill deficit almost forces them to play even better Halo, which might bring out the best in FaZe. Certainly it is right now.
I think it's a great point. You know, value the deaths really make Native Red work hard because you don't really have any other choice. You can't throw away a couple of lives trying to make too many risky plays. So for FaZe, like you say, this is almost an exercise in perfection for them right now. And SnakeBite, he is perfection personified at this point. 9 and 4 in this game, leading the team for assists as well. He really is leading from the front.
Yeah, it really feels like that additional deficit really gives them the right mindset, the right tone to play fantastic, perfect, disciplined Halo. That's now what we're seeing. Total score is 38-30, and they're starting to run away with this.
Yeah, Royal 2 has the heat wave as well. And SnakeBite has 5 thrusts, so he's stolen away thrust from Native Red as well. So all the power in the hands of FaZe. Unfortunately for them, a couple of players find themselves in the death screen. So this is a chance maybe for Native Red to start thinking about a comeback. We know on Aquarius Team Slayer that you can find those snowball runs. If you can get 2, 3 in the death screen, you can cycle those spawns. And now, Native Red have got to keep that in mind. It's a 9-kill difference, but only in this game. Remember that Native Red have 5 kills in the bank, so technically it's 36-39, 3 kills between the two teams.
This is still so close. That was 3 dead for FaZe, so Native Red slows the game down at the exact point that they needed to here on the home stretch. Still 6 minutes left, of course, so a lot to play for, but all eyes are going to be top middle here on this camo.
Big coming in from Taulek. Boamx follows it up as well, and the timing of the kills so vital here for Native Red. Another one comes in from SoulSnipe, and I say it's vital not just because of the game and the fact they've now got into a lead, Andy. The camo is coming up as well. They have control of the map, and Boamx is trying to push pink.
And once again, another example, SoulSnipe there with the fadeaway jumper to make sure that the trade does not come in. How the kills came in, but they didn't exactly have the map position that they needed to. Boam gets the trade there. 2 dead, 3 dead. Frosty's your last player alive. Camo still up top middle.
Frosty's got to try and make a hero play here to stop the camo being picked up. He's not going to be able to. At least stays alive for a second, but there is that camo. Like a ghost in the night. It's SoulSnipe who has it in his hands, and Native Red now have turned this game on its head.
Oh boy, what about the timing here, and what about the coordination? Exactly when they needed to do it. Now they only need 4 kills. Keep in mind, Native Red only need to hit the 45 mark here. This is dangerous territory for FaZe, and you can tell by their positioning and how much they've slowed this down that they know it.
Trade comes in. 3 kills to go here for Native Red. SoulSnipe with the heat wave, with the camo. The camo has dissipated, though. That will not be a factor in these final moments of this game.
Wow, just 38-30 moments ago in total score. Now, only a few kills to go here. Native Red needing just 3.
SoulSnipe looking for an opportunity to push. He snuck behind enemy lines, but he's been sniffed out here. Taulek gets 1. Frosty comes in as well. And even though Native Red only need 2, they're 4 in the death screen, and FaZe might steal this away.
Both teams only need 2 kills here, essentially 48-48 on paper there. The second heat wave shot does not come in, and it costs them. All 8 players up on the map.
Big push from Native Red into the fridge. 3 players escape on the pink side. Frosty's going to spot 1 out. Now they're going to re-wrap into the base. Taulek gets 1 though onto Renegade. He wins his 1v1. It's 1 kill to go here for Native Red.
Wow, somehow they get out of fridge and they get a kill as well. Let's see if they apply the pressure here. Camo coming up top mid as well on 13.
No deaths to play with here for FaZe. They have to get 2. SoulSnipe gets into the fridge, tries a couple of crafty grenades, but here come the rest of Native Red. Taulek's going to be challenging. Boamx gets the final one, and we are tied up 1-1 in this series. And Taulek is letting them know.
Oh boy, I think the camera should have stayed on Taulek. I want to know what he's saying across the stage as he exchanges some words down to the FaZe side. And if this series wasn't spicy enough for you, I think Taulek yelling down the line towards Frosty and company will get things even spicier. How about that late game composure from Native Red? Let's not forget, they were down in that game 38-25, so 38-30 on paper, and they're bringing that game back to win.
Yeah, I think it's crazy, and I'm not going to lip read in. It's a risky thing for me to try to try now, but pretty sure that he said we just beat you twice.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and if he didn't say that, he might as well have, because that's what it felt like for Native Red in that game. They had to go through the gauntlet to tie this series up at 1-1. And once again, we find ourselves looking at these 4 gentlemen on your screen and thinking about how they're going to deal with this pressure.
Just to give you an idea of the full scope of that comeback, it was indeed 39-30 in terms of total score in that game. It took about 1 minute, 27 seconds total to bring that game back. Quite a fast comeback, and the way that they did it, my goodness, another confidence boost, you have to say, for Native Red.
Confidence boost for Native Red, but a game thrown away for FaZe.
Yeah.
I mean, they were way in the lead in that game. They had such a comfortable cushion to play with, and then just started getting picked apart, almost like getting a little bit lazy in the way that they were pushing across the map, allowed Native Red to put 1 kill on the board, 2 kills on the board, and then start linking them all up. And against a team like Native Red, how many times are we going to say it? How many times are we going to have to say it? Yeah. You have to play until the very last moment of these games, otherwise they slip through your fingers.
And also, how about off-screen Taulek winning that key 1v1? I mean, just the way that Native Red, they stacked 3 in fridge. Let's not forget, we were on the POV, I believe, of Frosty, who had 4 nades, and all it takes is 1 or 2 of them to destroy the entire fridge. They rotate back out. Off-screen, Taulek wins a 1v1 that changed the entire final moments of that game.
Yeah, crazy to say as well. You know, Taulek didn't have as strong a game as he did before the restart. He ended up going 12-16 in that game, but that kill, that final kill he gets, is the game-winning kill. Pretty much, for Native Red. Gives them an opportunity to escape the base, gives them somewhere to try and get back on the map, and from that they do manage to close out and get that final kill. But I want to highlight Boamx as well. I mean, the guy goes 12-12 as a sub against one of the best teams ever assembled in Halo. 9 assists as well, leading the way for his team. He is doing everything for his good friends to push them even further in this tournament.
You cannot ask for anything more than a sub. I remember Ogre2 said it once a long time ago. If your sub is going even, that is exactly what you can ask for. And how about also leading not just his team in assists, but leading the game in assists as well. Of course, that is a huge part when they win that game only by 1 or 2 kills in terms of the final score. To be assisting 9 of them, a pretty big deal from Boamx without a doubt. And the series will now be tied 1-1. Also, I got to talk about, while we have a second before this next game starts, so impressed with the aggression coming in from Native Red in a high-pressure scenario when that camo was up. Frosty was the last player alive top pink. Taulek goes all the way past top mid to the front jump, right? Applying pressure from all the angles. They're not worried about the spawners. They had the timing down, and it's the confidence, the timing, and the aggression. That perfect storm of those 3 from Native Red is what they'll need if they want to close out the series.
You can go even further with that as well. That, you know, Taulek, the decision to take that angle as well. Think about where FaZe are posted up, right? They're coming off respawn. Frosty's last player alive on pink. He's the only person who can immediately challenge with camo. FaZe know this. They have to get inside of the base. They have to get the window to see if they can pick the camo player up. Taulek sliding down onto that car jump up. He has no line of sight from that window. Completely cuts it off, but isolates Frosty and anyone who tries to push up pink. So brilliant decision-making from Taulek. Risky decision-making as well, because he could have got picked on that cross from the window. Right. But once he's in that position, he is there to support his teammates, and it's very difficult to make those kind of calls and believe in those kind of calls in such a close game.
Yeah, and especially on the fly, right? I also love how SoulSnipe was actually top car, and he engages for just a moment, then he backs down. That's when Taulek flies in to the front jump. We've had a lot of time to talk about that, breaking it down. A fantastic set of late-game plays from Native Red will tie our series 1-1 as we now head to a Game 3, a go-ahead Game 3, Strongholds on Recharge.
Can't think of a better game type as well, and a better map, because this is something that FaZe Clan haven't had the best of success on historically. However, they certainly have improved on this game type. They have shown they can take it to the best in the world, and Native Red, Strongholds, they love to fly, they love to get aggressive, and they love to try and triple cap.
Yeah, we've seen these guys, regardless of what team they're playing under in Halo Infinite, they love to play this game as fast as possible, and that's what they've become known for here. We'll see if they could do it against one of the world's best here in game number 3.
Interesting to see where that camo goes off the rip. Royal 2 is going to get that in the hands of FaZe. So power up control. We've seen how camo is so vital, not only to jumping in strongholds, being a little bit of a ghost and trying to sneak them away, also for picking up kills like we're seeing here from Royal 2, but more for kind of breaking setups. If you're in a 2-cap, if you're not able to get across the map, you can use that camo to find the pick to allow the space for your teammates to get involved.
Really good bait work there from Royal 2 and Renegade there. Renegade just drops off of the bat ledge for a second. Royal 2 starts to be able to bait it, and Renegade goes right back up to bat ledge, and just like that, it is 4 dead like clockwork for FaZe Clan.
FaZe have all the goodies as well. Renegade, he had the shock rifle. Royal 2 had the camo, and now, hey, Royal 2's got the shock rifle himself. Uncharacteristically doesn't quite connect with that shot on the cross, but it's almost a warning shot, right? Native Red now know that Royal 2 is posted up somewhere with a shock rifle, and you never want Royal 2 posted up anywhere with a shock rifle.
Not at all. Let's take a look where these next kills go. Boamx is the first to fall, which will mean more continued control coming in. The kills are traded for just a moment. It's a big trade from Royal 2 to not just stay alive, but to stay alive on glass. With the power position, might have spoken too soon. 2 dead for FaZe.
Yeah, unfortunately for Royal 2, the missile swarm comes in and clears him out of gold and glass, and he'll be taken down. But a great start here from FaZe Clan, and most of it's been based off of that 2-cap. Now you're going to see maybe a little bit of conversion. Boamx is going to step into the stronghold. Renegade's trying to beat him there to try and cut it off, but Bone buying some good time. Doesn't quite get the trade, but Native Red find themselves 2 down. SnakeBite's inside of that B-hole, looking to turn it back over to FaZe and turn the scoring over in kind.
Love that play from Renegade. He goes coast to coast, just flies all the way out, nading into B batteries, and then he does enough damage for the team to come in to get the secure. That's exactly what you need out of a player like Renegade, out of a player like Frosty. Do that entry damage in the right part of the map as well to continue scoring.
Royal 2 now just sat bottom tower, trying to cut Taulek off on the cross. That's some good damage, which means Taulek will be out of the game for a few moments here, but good discipline being shown here by FaZe. Not trying to push a triple cap without having the kills in their advantage, and sometimes that's what it's about, right? You don't want to get a little bit overzealous, get a bit over antsy, try and win the game too quickly. You have to wait for those moments, and kills are vital for that SnakeBite last alive.
Good trade there from Royal 2. As you say, SnakeBite was your last player alive. He's actually just going to retreat there to C. Will be a BC hold here, so Native Red will be scoring for the first time in a minute here as the A flip starts as well. But I agree, I'm really impressed with what we've seen from FaZe. They're not being too greedy, they're not being over aggressive, and they're currently outslaying 18-13.
Very interesting scenario here on the map as well. FaZe had the weapons, they had the camo. They were able to put a 74 to kind of 10 or so point run on the board in comparison to Native Red. Now, that's completely swapped. We've seen now the shock rifle was in the hands of Native Red and SoulSnipe. They had the camo as well. When this comes to the end of this run, this scoring run we currently see Native Red on with this AB hold, will the game be close, or will FaZe be able to make a break? As SoulSnipe is going to be breaking some faces.
And look at the play call here from FaZe. They really take their time. They try to go for a coordinated push, and it doesn't pay off. 4 dead for FaZe, and you're looking at that from the POV of Whirlpool, and FaZe took their time to try to get a perfect coordinated timing push. It does not pay off, and it's about to also cost them the lead.
Now, what is happening in the next few moments of this game? The shock rifle was down, but as you mentioned quite rightly, FaZe were all in the death screen. So there's an opportunity maybe for Native Red to pick that weapon back up, and they do get the first kill in this team v team scenario. Game is about to be tied up, and Native Red are about to go into a lead. FaZe Clan find themselves 2 dead, as do their adversaries.
Wow, what a trade there from Taulek on top A as well. What a run here. It's a triple cap from Native Red. You have to wonder how FaZe let it happen. Perfect timing from Native Red to get the kills, to get the camo, to get the shock, and to turn it into a massive run on the board. This has now been an 82-point run.
Brilliance coming in from Native Red, and we said they love to triple cap. They love to be aggressive. Well, they tried to do exactly that, but against a team like FaZe, if you get a bit too over-aggressive, if the comms aren't right on what stronghold you're trying to rotate to next to get your kills in a triple cap, it allows FaZe to set up and pick you off one by one. That's what they've done, and FaZe now find themselves controlling A and C, and Royal 2 has that camo.
This is what Royal 2 needed. This is what FaZe needed. They needed to get that next camo. They start to flip B as well. They needed to slow this down because what a run it had been from Native Red, and trades be coming here in batteries as well. 2 dead for both sides, and now it's going to be a trip cap here for FaZe.
Trip cap here for FaZe. All spawns coming in on the elevator as well. Renegade manages to get a trade, importantly, and that allows Royal 2 to put his cape on and fly through the skies for a few moments. Gets the reset on A, and FaZe go into a lead. They continue with the triple cap, but most importantly here, they let C away. A was the focus for them, and they got the kills they needed.
Wow, this has been so back and forth between these two teams. We mentioned earlier here as 3 dead for Native Red, and A starts to flip as well, but that presumably will get reset in just a moment. But We saw earlier FaZe actually outslaying 17-9. That was then tied at the 22 mark, and now FaZe is backslaying again 33-27, just back and forth between these two as FaZe now takes a 136-105 lead.
And it links up Druk beautifully with who's got the camo, right? First camo goes to FaZe, second camo goes to Native Red. FaZe get the third, and that's where that scoring run has come from. So, in 25 seconds, we're about to see that power-up come back onto the map. It's an opportunity for Native Red to show that they can do it again to FaZe, make this game close, but at the moment, Frosty's just looking for bodies.
Just trying to take down Manny here. Doesn't have the help just yet. Manny somehow gets away, and even a little bit of help from A is going to help him.
Manny alive.
Finally, he will be traded out by Frosty, but help comes into the elevator as well, and game still within 44 points.
FaZe looking to push a triple cap here. They have control of B momentarily. They're flipping C as well. They've let A go, and the elevator spawns will be coming in. Important for Renegade to do something here on B, but the resources were split from FaZe. They get taken apart, and now Royal 2, who has got the camo, has the chance to calm things down with a double kill himself.
Oh boy, there might be more where that came from. Here it is with the loop-de-loop and the back whack as well for the triple. They will continue scoring here.
Brilliant play from Royal 2. The camo makes the difference again in this game. It's been the story so far. And now Royal 2 might be able to go to work here. Everybody trapped from Native Red. He gets another double. Manny's one shot as well. It could be two back-to-back triples for Royal 2. A teammate steals it away, but FaZe keep scoring.
Yeah, SnakeBite's going to grab that one. But to be honest, this team is all business. They're not too worried about the triples. They're worried about the wins on the board, especially when they're tied 1-1 here. Off of the back of all that damage, the beautiful triple, and the resulting kills at elevator, they will now lead 180-118.
It's showing in the slays as well, right? Heavily outslaying their opponents at the moment. Royal 2 finds another one. Royal 2 finds another two. SoulSnipe finally decides if he's going to go down, he's going to try and take Royal 2 with him with that stick. But the score is starting to add up now. FaZe Clan are starting to establish their dominance on this map. But we're getting into the late game again here. The question for FaZe is, can you hold on in the late game?
That is the question here. Right now, Frosty just staying alive at elevator, making sure it's cleared out. The combo can come out. They will continue scoring at AC. However, they find themselves 2 dead. Right now, outslaying by 9 kills, but they need to find the kills in this home stretch to make sure that they don't allow Native Red to get back in.
This is the important bit, right? This is the bit that's been vital to success for all teams in these tight series. Making sure that you're locked in for this end game, because a couple of kills are starting to fall here on the side of Native Red. They're going to give away A, but Boamx is going to be able to jump into C here to flip over and keep the scoring in their favor. Eyes on bottom middle, though. That's what we need to be watching. The camo is up in 3 seconds' time. If FaZe get it, that could be the game. If Native Red get it, that could be their way to elongate this and maybe turn it around.
Boom almost takes down Renegade. You have to wonder if he shot a second later, if he would have caught him out at tower here. 2 dead for Native Red, only 1 dead for FaZe.
Pretty sure that Frosty might have got away with that camo as well. Frosty's still alive. Royal 2 has the shock rifle again. And FaZe in the late game get the kills they need to establish map dominance and an A-B hold.
The kills they need, the camo they need, and the shock they need. We'll have to see what Frosty's up to with that camo. I think off screen he's also just running around and starting to get a trap here at tower and Hydro. These next kills will determine if Native Red has any chance of stopping the hold.
Royal 2, he knows that SoulSnipe's trying to sneak up on him. Great cover fire coming in from Renegade, though. Both players watching each other's crosses. So important in the recipes to success here that you do that for the teammates. 4 dead for Native Red. Couple more kills here for FaZe, and that will be their game.
Wow, perfect play there. Native Red not able to stop the hold. Unsurprisingly, it's too good power-up control and too much power-up control as well. 3 points to go.
19 and 8 for Royal 2 in this game. When they needed him, he stepped up as FaZe Clan step up in the series at 2-1.
Wow, in the end, outslaying 61-44 as well does FaZe. And like we said, it completely was dictated by every single pop of the camo. You can watch the entire kill-death chart of that game, and it ebbs and it flows. It swings back and forth depending on where that camo went. As we said, being outslayed 17-9 and then being tied at 22 kills. But in the end, 61-44 is your slay total for FaZe. They also close out the game comfortably. And I tell you what, it felt like they just got hotter and hotter. And the late game, Royal 2 also hitting shots with the shock, and it just got prettier and prettier for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, sometimes the best lesson you can learn is losing a game in a way that you didn't want it, right? Because it means when you get into that next game, if you have the opportunity to, and it doesn't cost you a series, you all of a sudden focus up. It's like, okay, boys, we're in this situation again. Let's not let this one slip through our fingers. Royal 2 really did take over in that endgame. Played his life so well, but like you say, the story is the camos, and that's how close the teams are at this point in Halo Infinite. One power-up dictates what happens in the next 60, 90 seconds on the map.
I loved it. You're going to see a few plays here. We'll see if any of them were specifically pivotal, but I loved what I saw from Renegade throughout that game. There's two plays that really stick out from him. One was the way he made sure to get across the map to do things like getting B resets when he was the last player alive. Other times when he was covering, as we saw, covering Royal 2 from the A cross so that SoulSnipe couldn't even get into gold, right? Amazing covering and amazing teamwork. And what I saw from Renegade there was making every play that he needed to. He went 17 and 14. He had the most deaths on the team, but that tells me he's getting into dangerous situations, getting into tricky territory, and getting the kills, not only that he needed, but on the right parts of the map at the right time as well.
And what was our focus on FaZe? How are they going to be successful in this tournament? It's all going to come down to communication. Who is doing what, and if they are on the same page to execute. We just saw on that game, that's exactly what they were doing. Royal 2 moving in, finishing off damage created by other teammates, hitting good snipe shots as well to give his team openings, which then they can play off the back of. FaZe looking more like the team who plays at the ceiling we know they can, instead of the one who sometimes is flattered to deceive in the middle of a series.
Yeah, I mean, look at Royal 2, 19 and 7 with 8 assists as well in that game. Man is absolutely popping off, and who else would you depend on but the man on your screen to make sure that he hits the shots and gives the team the 2-1 series lead. And like we said, in case you missed it yesterday, the most important thing we're focused on around FaZe Clan is the interaction between their big slayers. Frosty, Renegade, and of course Royal 2 and SnakeBite doing it all the time as well. How do they find that perfect mix of the aggressors that are flying in, that are making high risk, maybe low percentage plays that could pay off and blow the map wide open, and the players that sit back? That game's a perfect example. Renegade has the high death number, Frosty there with the high assist number. That's exactly the kind of magic recipe that they need to find.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed. Now FaZe need to stay focused and in this series, because they've already shown, even with a dominant performance, that Native Red can jump back into a series at a moment's notice. And if they manage to take this Native Red, if we go to a Game 5, we've seen how good they are at Slayers. They can make things happen in a series and steal it away from you by just winning those 2 Slayers. So this next game is so vital for FaZe. You have to close it out here. You have to close it out now. Otherwise, Native Red have another opportunity, another chance to win a Game 5, and once again, surprise so many people here in Dallas.
And that wouldn't it be on brand here for HCS Global Invitational at DreamHack Dallas for FaZe to find even more trouble in the rest of this series. That's exactly what Native Red wants to do here, to keep things interesting and, to be honest, keep things even spicier after we saw that trash talk coming across the stage as well. Here we are now into our next game.
Streets King of the Hill is what the game type and map is going to be. First to 4 is going to win this one, or whoever has the lead when that time expires. Rockets are going to be the priority off the rip for both teams, of course. And Royal 2 walks down mid, picks him up almost unchallenged. And that's because look at where his teammates are. They're already up in tram.
Renegade up C stairs, SnakeBite comes all the way down driveway. That provides the sidelines and the angles that they need for Royal 2 to just waltz into bottom middle. As you say, no shields, but he knew he had the cover. No problem either. They will have the initial points on the board.
Taulek behind the bar. Royal 2 steps up and steals the drink away from him. Tries to thread the needle with that rocket into the L as well, but doesn't quite connect in the way he would have wanted to. But half of that first hill already converted here, Andy. And look at the slays. Manny has yet to pick one up himself.
Wow, but Renegade, just nice little slide off a laundry into the L. Picks up that kill. Does it with style as well. And like you said, just a few more points to go here to close out this first hill.
Yeah, this first hill has been FaZe dominant. And now you're going to see Renegade try and support his teammate in SnakeBite as he's having a little bit of work to do inside of the arcade. And having picked up a few kills, Native Red now maybe in a position to finally challenge this hill, but Renegade is going to be in a position with the Sentinel beam to just shred, to burn, to melt players who walk in.
Don't forget what this thing does on land here. Renegade knew it was a 2v2, and by just holding music here, he could be such a nuisance and buy himself more time. Somehow he stays alive as well. The Shroud screen made things a bit dicey.
I mean, I want to talk about SnakeBite and Renegade's interaction there. The first time we saw Renegade up on that arcade street, it was to help SnakeBite. He stayed alive so long that Renegade had SnakeBite come back and help him off the respawn. That is why staying alive in this game is so important. Off the back of it, FaZe 1-0 up, almost perfect on that first hill.
Yeah, and who's the one player you don't want to leave alive for that long in music, right? Especially with a weapon like the Sentinel beam. It's Renegade. He picks up kills he had no business getting. He stays alive, as you said, for so long. And now off of that continued damage, it is a domino effect. 3 dead for Native Red as the rockets are popping.
Should be a free pickup for them as well. You can see Royal 2 is going to slide away with them. That's his second set of rockets, and that's yet another kill for Royal 2. And FaZe set up for success once again inside a tram. They have the hill locked down, they have the power weapons, and Royal 2 is so damn good with them.
Not the easiest needle to thread. Anybody who has pushed up on the Neons and Bulldog with a rocket launcher knows that they can get pretty nasty. It's a double kill killing spree for Renegade there on the driveway. It can get pretty nasty with those rockets as you're flying into Cafe, but not a worry for Royal 2. Look at the scoreboard here. Another 50% or more progress coming in on our second hill as well for FaZe.
My goodness.
Of course he hits the shot.
Renegade is starting to take over in this game, and SnakeBite says, hey, I want a little piece of the action as well. 60% of this hill already taken over. Make it 75% of the hill as FaZe are dominating right now. Boamx only has the 1 kill. He's barely been on the map.
Look at this now. I'm going to just stay alive in the back of the base. It's all he needs to do. Still 2 dead. And this has been a story of continued Slay control. Now the hill will go. And now a nice little melee to finish that one for SnakeBite. And now outslaying their opponents. Get ready for it. 29-13. More than double their score in the kills category.
One of the conversations we were having coming into this event, Andy, was we felt like FaZe have the highest skill ceiling in all of the teams that we have in the Halo Championship Series. It's just if they can produce it consistently. This is what we mean. This is what we're talking about. This is a dominant performance from FaZe, and you're looking at Native Red, and there's just nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. I was going to say the same thing. This team is a well-oiled machine. They are firing on all cylinders and ready to go. You can't hide in the laundry. Manny, though, steals out a nice melee battle and makes me eat my words. 2 dead for both sides.
Well, finally, Native Red pick up some kills. That'll be 3, make it 4 dead as Frosty did get taken down, and off the respawn managed to pick up 1 himself. Now sat inside of this bottom middle hill. A little reminder to everyone as well, that bottom middle hill has been adjusted and does allow for this hill to be picked up a little bit easier by the teams who are sat inside of it. Rockets popping as well, and it looks like for the first time in this game, SoulSnipe's going to have them, but Frosty still has a barrel rifle and takes them straight out of his hands.
Wow, easier said than done, isn't it? Frosty somehow stays alive, and now he just paves the way for a teammate to snag the rockets as well. That's going to be Renegade who gets them, brings them to tires, and now has a perfect opportunity to just hold this bottom middle hill still, and it is once again slaying control. Now it's 35-19. Renegade hits that not easy rocket once again to clean up the kill in midair, and this is once again still just an absolute dominating performance.
Oh my goodness.
And it just continues. It feels like we can't even finish a sentence without another kill coming in for FaZe.
I mean, look at this. Renegade buys time again. Keeps himself alive, picks up another kill, assists another one for SnakeBite, and Renegade and SnakeBite are working so well in tandem up on this arcade street. It's 3 dead again for Native Red. Look at the bottom of your screen. FaZe are about to make this 3-0, and there's still 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock.
I mean, this game is over much faster than I think we were even ready for. Certainly than Native Red was ready for. As you say, 3-0 already with a lot of time still on the board.
2 dead again for Native Red, however 3 dead for FaZe Clan. Royal 2 finds himself as the last alive. FaZe Clan do manage to convert that 3rd hill, but Native Red now for once, finally, have a full setup on the map where they might be able to put some pressure back onto Native Red. We've seen this game type do some funny things, Andy. We've had calls of games that we thought were over that weren't over, so they've got to keep that in mind if you're a Native Red fan, that funny things can happen here on Streets King of the Hill.
Certainly, with players like Native Red, man, he actually using the AR there, bringing out the sauce. Eventually, those kills will be traded out. Frosty going to come back around the back of A with the Sentinel Beam. But as we talk about those kills now traded out, 3 dead for both sides. SoulSnipe and Renegade in a momentary 1v1. But to get back to the point here, Native Red, a team that could bring this back, but man, oh man, are they going to ever have to put together quite an effort?
Yeah, they certainly are indeed, but finally they've got a little bit of presence on the map. The problem for them is that Renegade is being the very definition of a cheeky little rascal inside of PD. Still alive, they can't deal with him. Finally, they do flush him out, but Royal 2 in the meantime goes, this game's really fun because I get to play with rockets every life.
He's like, man, this is really easy as Renegade stays alive yet again for about a 45-second period in one corner of the map, and here comes Royal 2, just rolls around with the boom booms. It's a double kill.
Yeah, Royal 2 having all the fun in the world at the moment. It's 3-0. At the moment for FaZe Clan. Native Red did have some control, but the rocket pickup and the prioritization of weapons allows now potentially a break to come in for FaZe. Taulek still being a nuisance. Renegade back into PD this time. He's got a search warrant and comes out with Taulek's life, and Renegade now just stepping around the hill, maybe thinking about playing the clock at this point, FaZe.
And Royal 2's like, man, this game's fun. Love this game.
Yeah,
love
you guys are playing comp scenes, I'm playing Fiesta.
This is a great game here, and now just so much time on the board yet again here as we see Native Red trying to get a little bit of pressure, see if they can do, but now the clock has started to tick much, much faster as FaZe has opted to play a little bit more Slayer here, 1:23 left on the clock.
Yeah, they don't have to force it. They can play their own game at the moment. They control the pace of this map, and SoulSnipe is going to have to pick up a few more kills if he wanted to try and give themselves essentially enough time to even get back into this game. Of course, when you step in that hill, that clock will stop, and Native Red will have that in the back of their minds.
That's right. Now taking a look at the ticks here. SoulSnipe just trying to hold this down, knows the pressure might be coming, and it looks like it's opting to make the play, but instead the point will go here. So now things are a lot more interesting. 1:17 left on the clock.
And we know that you can transition to this Pink Street Hill very, very comfortably as well. And SoulSnipe is a perfect indication and illustration of that for everybody watching. Moves from inside of that hill around the statue, immediately inside of this next hill. Two of his teammates dead, but he's got a shotty. Puts a couple of shells into the body, and Renegade now going to be challenging as well.
Look how he played that just so carefully. Players are pushing in here on Cafe. It's good damage from him. He does get the trade as well as the killing spree. That was 2 dead for FaZe. Did everything he could there on the solo effort from the hill.
There was a moment there that we have to talk about from FaZe, though. They wrapped all the way around the map into PD so that they could get those spawns, and that is why you are seeing SnakeBite now controlling this side of the map alongside his teammate Frosty. Rocket's coming up as well. Royalty will probably get them, but actually he won't because he's dead.
SnakeBite actually, I think, threw the shroud screen so that the rockets could be tossed. In the end, though, we'll have to track exactly where they might have gone. A little 360 there for SnakeBite. The shroud screen, of course, continuing to cause chaos.
By the way, SnakeBite's 20-9. I don't know how I didn't notice that. He's 20-9. Everybody with 38 seconds left in this game. FaZe do break through. They will continue to try and punish Native Red. Not allow them in that hill and let the game clock decide that this is going to be a FaZe series win.
Yeah, that extra hill cushion is certainly going to help. He picks up another one. 21-9. This man is on a tear here. 25 seconds left.
Leading from the front is the General, and he is taking Native Red apart in this game. It's another one for SnakeBite. 22 kills for PJ. 9 deaths alongside it, and at the moment, just out of mark. Do what you want on the map.
Oh, man, it's starting to look like a montage here. I'm not sure we're still into the gameplay here. You throw some 2000s early rock here, and this thing's going to sound real good. 18 seconds left on the clock.
24, make it 25. Boamx is going to be challenging Native Red, trying to desperately push towards this hill, but FaZe, they put the wall up. They stand strong. SnakeBite flies in. He makes it 25, and with 6 seconds left in this game, Renegade is just going to hold on.
He's going to fly in here, pick up another one. The benches are free. They should be able to get this one as well. That'll do it.
FaZe Clan dominant in game number 4 in the series. They will win 3-1 and move on to the winners bracket final. Now we're going to wait to find out who they're going to be going up against. We've got a few more series to go, but that was a great indication of just how dangerous FaZe can be.
That's right, it wasn't the easiest road, and at times, Native Red putting up quite a fight, making that series not just interesting, but a hell of a lot of fun to watch there. Native Red with a lot to be proud of. However, FaZe looking strong and looking like they are ready for the rest of the bracket.
None of the players on FaZe Clan have won an event in over a year. 12 months have passed until they lifted a trophy. They're one step closer now, Andy. They're one step closer now, Dallas, to maybe, just maybe, making this the event they do so.
And like we said, they've seen teams around them in the bracket fall to much lower seeded teams. And that's a test that they had here, coming in with the 2nd seed up against the 4th seeded Native Red.